I've got a great video lined up for you today. We're going to go through the news, and there are a lot of secrets that are going to be exposed in this video, how financial markets work, and especially how they're intercorrelated and interconnected. We'll look across the key levels of silver, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, Bitcoin, Solana, and so many more things. And a special guest will be appearing later on in the show. Let's run the numbers. Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS and the CTKS Method. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back CTKS family. I'm so grateful to be joining you today. Binance founder CZ finally walks free of US prison. The meme coins have been having a really good time, and Pepe gained 30% in a week as the meme coin trading volumes exploded. What happened to memes in the past 24 hours? We can see SHIB is the best performer, followed by Bonk, Boom, Pepe, Bitcoin, Doge. Well, a Bitcoin isn't a meme, but we use that as a reference point. Followed by Doge, Floki, 1000 Sat Spread, and Audi leading up the back of the pack of the memes. There's a really interesting pattern I would like you to pay attention to. You can see pretty much on all of these ecosystem plays, we went up and we went down, up and down. Now, why was this? I can give you a bit of an insight. We know our rules. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, and Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. So when we look at the S&P 500, we saw that it came up and then it came down. Just zooming in a little, I've just overlaid Bitcoin here. What do we notice here? Oh, this is quite interesting. As the S&P 500 was coming down, what was Bitcoin doing? It couldn't escape the gravity. And therefore, the entire crypto market did exactly the same thing. So what did happen to the main markets last night, or in yesterday's session? We came up to this 57.6250 level of structural resistance, and you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of structural resistance in there. And what happened? Basically, it just couldn't get above it. It tried before and failed, and it's failed again. And how did the NASDAQ go? Looking back a couple of days, we saw that the NASDAQ just rallied up and came back to its structural support level around that 18,140 mark. And what has it done since? In the past trading session, not much. Did a bit of a push up, hit structural overhead resistance at that just south of the 18,240 mark. Came down in and this is not looking good. We're actually confirming a bit of a downtrend here. We may make a move down to 18,000. Please keep this on your radar. Always know that we could come back up, and because this is a definite gravitational well, we could come back up and confirm a support and go for it. You need to keep your eye on price action, but especially there's weak structural support here. So if we move down, we could move down rather quickly. And if we move up, we could consolidate and wobble around a bit as well. But it's certainly not all bad news. Look at junk bonds. It's going towards the normalized positive price path. If it continues up, we would see a closeout around that 98.03 level. This means that there could be a coiling of positive momentum inside the stock market and therefore inside crypto. Life inside financial markets gets much easier when you understand the price is just moving structural level to structural level. If it can't get above, it's going to the next structural level below. If it can't get above, it's going to the next structural level below. It just makes everything so easy. And when we look at gold, we can see exactly that. Gold failed at this 2672 structural resistance level, and then it failed again and came back to, as we would expect, The 2662 level, it couldn't confirm it as support. What did that mean? It meant that it was likely to get gravitationally attracted to 2647, and that's where it went. We're starting to see a bit of positive momentum, but we need to get above 2662 and confirm as support in order to go higher. If we can't do that, we're going back to 2647. But hang on a second, Ken. I read the news. Money managers' bullish bets on gold jump to 4-year high. Why isn't gold going up? Well, truthfully, in a way it is. Definitely, gold is going up. It's cutting out and it's breaking up. Okay, fantastic. But always just take note. Look at it. The chart tells you the truth. The chart is going up and down, up and down. Where is it going up and down between? You've got it. Structural support and structural resistance. If you know where the true structural resistance and structural support levels are, you're ahead of the vast majority of people. But Ken, silver has also been going up, and what's happening? Okay, silver came down to this 3190 level of structural support and it held, and it rebounded up. Look at all of these structural resistance levels. That makes it a bit of a headache for silver to get up there and confirm it as support. If it did so, it would likely wobble around a bit under consolidation. Here these lines have been drawn with level 1 and level 2 standard certification across more than 81,000 days, and we can see that this 3220, it acted as a wall. It just couldn't confirm as structural support. It couldn't even get over it. It was so weak. It said, I need a holiday. Take me back to 3190, and back it came. And look at that internal volatility, because there wasn't much structural support below that amount. 3168 was the area. You can do really well in range-bound markets if you know how to trade correctly. And what did we see? Pushing through the 3190 and 3195, coming back and seeking to rechallenge the 3220, and it failed. Look at all those rejections. Rejection. Silver was feeling very rejected. And then it came down through a negative fresh air gap, which meant it could move up quickly and come down quickly, which is what it did. And it just sunk. One of the things that you're always looking for, just like Warren Buffett, a moat, a zone of safety. And to get your zone of safety, you need multiple structural support levels. These stronger ones are good, but if they're scattered in terms of what is above and what is below, price can get very, very volatile. In these negative fresh air gaps, price can just fall down. But just be aware that if we can get a bullish confirmation at 3168, we could just shoot up to the 3195 very, very quickly. But if we don't confirm that and the bearish case comes around, we have levels of structural support inside the market. People will tell you that Bitcoin is a non-correlated asset with the S&P 500, with the NASDAQ, with the Dow. Oh, look at that. Looks pretty damn correlated to me. What about Russell 2000? Yes, very correlated. Look at the charts. Just remember, the news is always telling you a story. That's its job. If you've been following the channel for a while, I was explaining that the VIX is starting to base. It looks like it wants to go up. When the VIX goes up, it typically throws a lot of negative momentum inside the market and also inside crypto. That's what we witnessed in yesterday's session. The interesting thing is that we didn't actually get a flight to safety inside gold. We got it inside Bitcoin. And then as the VIX took hold, Bitcoin said, actually, I am correlated. I'll go down with the stock market major indices. That's why it's so important to look across the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 charts. What is really interesting in the past trading session is that the yields pretty much traded like Bitcoin, and the US dollar, DXY, it did as well. I can't get the words out. It's so weird. And when you see this sort of behavior, typically we would expect oil to weaken, but on supply concerns, or so they say, oil went up. And of course, it's excess supply when oil goes down. It's fantastic to always have a reason. Your best bet to profitability inside any market is to just understand the structure and intercorrelation and interconnection. Bitcoin is a very enthusiastic little asset class, and it is quite scarce. It's digitally scarce. And what do we see? We saw a breakout from that 64,520 mark. Fantastic. And actually, look at US liquidity, it's taking a nosedive. We'll look at the structural levels on Bitcoin just in a little while. We remember yesterday they were talking about a soft landing, and of course we knew that the VIX was turning around. But the soft landing is a good thing, and if GDP keeps on getting revised up, wow, that's even better. For right now, max pain is currently sitting at 65,500 for Bitcoin. It's very important to track what Bitcoin does, and of course its intercorrelation with the stock market and the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 charts. We saw that Bitcoin absolutely exploded. It had a ball, and then it retraced. Why did it retrace? The VIX went up, and that threw negative price momentum into the S&P 500, into the NASDAQ, into the Dow, and into the Russell. And Bitcoin said, hey guys, I'm coming with you. That's a party we didn't want Bitcoin to attend, but it went anyway. And what are we looking at with Ethereum? Ethereum is kind of holding up fairly strongly. Good on you, Vitalik. And what about Binance Coin? With CZ coming out, is BNB rallying? Well, not so much, because hey, it can't. It's just trapped in directional correlation with Bitcoin. Look at Solana. Whoa, just doing every single ping up and down, up and down. Oh, Sol, you've got Sol. Yeah, the soul of Bitcoin's directional movement. What about XRP? Well, XRP is just a little bit weaker at the moment. What about Doge? Oh, it's feeling left out in the cold. What about ADA? It's looking a bit weak. What about crypto? Total market cap? Well, it's just hovering around, moving in directional alignment. But you can see that the memes are coming down a little. Why would this be? People are taking profit. But also the concept behind the meme. Basically, people new to the market get into the memes because they're so damn cute. If you're trading memes, please let me know in the comments which ones that you like. And what happens when the memes go parabolic? Everybody says, buy, 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 buy on green, buy on green, buy on green. And then when they go red, what do? They panic like hell. What is the critical flaw in this particular argument? It's all about what are the levels on Bitcoin? What are the structural levels on total? Because we know they're going to flow into the meme coins. If we don't know those, we're just gambling. We're just like throwing money around. We don't want to throw money around. We want to actually make money. And how do you make money in a financial market? You do analysis. If you would like to do more analysis, Shah and Al have very kindly offered a CTKS Ambassador Partial Masterclass Scholarship. Your name could be here. All you need to do is to fill in the form, and that link is inside the video's description. And much gratitude and appreciation to Shah and Al. On the 9th of October, you can get the Profiting from CTKSmethod structure for absolutely nothing. Oh, that's a pretty good saving. But there are some conditions apply. You must be part of the masterclass, be currently enrolled in that, or have done L1 and L2 certification from CTKSmethod.org, or alternately be a member of the CTKS Method service. That's at CTKSmethod.org. That's where we share all the levels and price projections like we did on junk bonds, the S&P 500, gold and silver, and all of those Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 charts. It also has all the indicators. Now, why are you getting this absolutely free? Because you're here and you're awesome. If you're not here and you're not seeing this and you've not filled out the form in the URL of the video description, you will become ineligible. After the 9th, this special offer closes, so please take advantage of it. It's pretty obvious that we need to pay attention to the VIX at the current time. The VIX spiking up gave Bitcoin and crypto a headache. Naughty VIX. Okay, we need to look at the structural level. Now, what do we see here? Oh no! A positive fresh air gap. What happens in these kind of situations when price is up here trying to test an area of structural support and it has a negative fresh air gap below it? It means that it can just collapse really quickly. Boom! There it goes. But it actually goes the other way as well. We could see the VIX spiking up to 1780. That would be a very bearish case scenario. But we need to be aware of the structural composition of the VIX because it's really important. And what would rally the markets? Seeing the VIX come backwards. Volatility inside the crypto market wasn't really that great at all. 127.67 million in total liquidations, with the majority being short and only south of 60,000 positions being liquidated. What were they thinking? It may have felt like a really big move, and some of those cryptos moved like crazy, but it really wasn't. Anything sort of around the 200 to 300, yeah, that's getting a commitment level up there. Around the billion, yes, that's really good. What are we seeing now? Low volume. In the new course coming out, Profiting from CTKS Method structure, I'll explain how to read across the charts. Especially, you need to look inside crypto at Bitcoin and also total crypto market cap. What did we see in the last trading session? Bitcoin rallied up with renewed optimism. Wow, October, everything is good. And what happened? Well, the main markets happened. We know exactly what happened. We looked at the charts. But we need to actually examine something else. We need to examine structure. If we know where the structure is, we can say, are we getting above or towards positive levels? Are we holding structural support or are we losing it? And what is this green line? That was the target for Bitcoin inside the service for this month. It hit it. What we're seeing here is that there was a good degree of structural support when price was above here, around that 66,100 area. There were actually two areas of structural support. Now, what happened? We came down, passed through one, tapped the other, and couldn't confirm this as structural support. You notice we passed through it, and the next candle we passed through that into a negative fresh air gap, and then we hit structural support. This is incredible stuff. It gives you X-ray vision inside financial markets. When price is just hurtling towards the earth, you can say, it's okay, it's just going towards a structural support level. Now, what we can see as we enter the weekend, and we're just disconnected from the main markets now, thank goodness, is that we have a degree of support. We also have some moderate cutovers here, so that's looking pretty positive. We could see Bitcoin coming up in the weekend to challenge this 66,100 area of structural resistance. The bullish case getting it over there, 66,200 and above. Woohoo, we're going to take off. But if it comes back and retests around that 65,630 mark and weakens, we expect it to go down towards the next structural support level below Bitcoin's price. I'm always harping on about how we have to look at Total and Bitcoin together because they're important. Have a look at this. Total was just having a ball. And then what happened? Of course, it hit structural resistance, but where? We just pop on the indicator and we can see it playing out to a T. The first time the entire crypto market came up, it just got whacked on the head through this positive air gap and then whacked at that $2.278 trillion mark. It just couldn't hold it. So what did it do? It went through that negative fresh air gap down to the 2.266 and said, give me another go at that. I can get over it. And it did, but it couldn't get over the next one. And there's one in between. It didn't confirm it as structural support. Why couldn't it confirm it? Because the VIX was exploding. The major market indices were retracing. And then what happened? It just came down. And what was happening with Bitcoin always influences total. What you may not be aware of, and a lot of people aren't unfortunately aware of, total also influences Bitcoin. Wow, they hang out together. They're kind of married. Now, how do we read this and how do we apply it throughout the weekend? You notice this level of structural resistance. It is in fact resistance. It's not so positive for the total market. What we need to do is to see total crypto market cap get above this $2.266 trillion mark and confirm as support. It could move up very quickly. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Bitcoin needs to get above that 65,940 mark. That's where total crypto market cap is playing negative price momentum into Bitcoin. How cool is that? You have X-ray vision. How do we apply this to Ethereum? We can see ETH has that structure, but we don't know where the actual structure resides. So we pop on the indicator from the service. We can see here that ETH has a lot of underpinning structural support around that 2667 mark. If it bypasses this particular 2704, it has a positive fresh air gap and it could rally really strongly. That is the bullish case. But to do so, total needs to get above its own internal resistance. Watch total, watch Bitcoin, and then watch the chart that you're putting money into. That's the bullish case. What is the bearish case? The bearish case is that total doesn't get above its own internal structural resistance, and that drives Ethereum and of course the entire crypto market downwards. And we would also expect Bitcoin to be hanging out with its partner. And then ETH comes down to this 2667, either confirms it as support or undersides, retests it and goes down. That's the bearish case. What about Solana? If we look at that and just pop on the levels, the structural levels, we can see Solana is coming into an area of structural support just a little bit north of 157. At 156 there's also structural support, and we can see how this structural support has turned and flipped between support and resistance, support and resistance, support. You get the idea. It's important. This is an important level, and it was drawn literally at the start of the month. We know that if total crypto market cap can break out of its structural resistance, that looks really good for Solana. We would anticipate a little bit of wobbling around that 161 because that's likely where Bitcoin structural resistance will hit, and then just above just a little bit of a wobble and a bullish case around that 165. A bearish case would look like this, underside retesting the 156 and heading down to the 150, where we would expect to get caught. Remember, as price just goes for it, it's going to structural resistance, and it plummets down, it's going to structural support. Let's try something a little bit different. Let's look at Pepe's levels. Now, when you look at Pepe's chart, you can see this. Underneath is structure. Structure always exists underneath every single price chart. So let's have a look at where the structure was. We can see that Pepe has been coming down. Now, what we need to see is a breakout inside total crypto market cap. That will throw positive momentum inside Pepe. And we can see just around that 1060 mark, there's an area of structural support. When Pepe was coming down hard, that 1060 area was quite nice. Now, if Pepe loses the 1060 area, wow, it's going to the 1000 or even down to the 970 area. Just be aware that positive fresh air gaps can turn very, very negative. So we need to make sure that total crypto market cap and Bitcoin are supportive of upward price momentum when we trade. Now, zooming out a little bit, what happens if total crypto market cap goes positive? Wah, ay caramba! Look at the next solid structural level of resistance on Pepe. It's just a little bit north of 1350. That is pretty damn impressive. Go frog go! And the kind of nice thing is that we have a lot of underpinning structural support, but just be aware this negative volatility can shake a lot of people out. And please let me know, do you trade Pepe or any of the other memes? Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again in the next video. Bye for now, and well done to everybody who got the secret word yesterday. The secret word today is, drumroll, structure. Bye for now.